Oh, goodness. What's I'm Cameron, you know. Um, I'm also on YouTube, Convos with Cam, and I actually practice psychotherapy. So, but yeah. Oh, goodness. So, surprisingly, no. Um, Surprisingly, this was nothing that was on my radar. Um, like, you know how when you're younger and people ask you, what do you want to be? That type of thing. I used to want to be a veterinarian. Like, that's what I really wanted, right? And then I was like, oh no, I have to put the animals down. Can't do it. And so I worked for corporate for many years in sales, and I was a regional manager and doing things like that. And when corporate folded, a good friend of mine told me about a group home that was hiring. And I was like, what is a group home? And that's what started this whole journey.
Wow. And how did you get into it from that point? I just want to know.
Ye- Yeah, so when I went to the group home, it was like I said, I had no history in mental health or anything of such. Working with individuals
Mhm.
with all different types of disabilities, whether it be physical or mental illness. I didn't hear you.
Mhm.
Okay. And what I noticed is when, they would give us like a behavioral plan because it was called DSP. So I was a direct support professional, right? And when they would give us like a behavioral plan for the individual, I was more concerned about what was causing the behavior versus how many times did they have the behavior, things like that. So I was going over and beyond, even in my job at that time. And before I knew it, I was like, man, that's an interest that I never even thought, I would have, but it kind of makes sense if I was always big into sciences and yeah, that would make sense that talking about it, like just talking about it to you, I'm now seeing how it would have eventually led me to such. So
So it wasn't necessarily you saying a calling. It was something that kind of fell into your lap and you were kind of natural with it.
I don't even know, honestly, Act, to take the calling. I don't want to say so much to even take the calling out, right? Because I do truly believe, right?
Mhm.
I know that this is where I should be
Okay.
in this season, in this time. Um, because it was a gift that was given to me, if that makes sense. It was just the calling was there. I wasn't answering it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But it still led me to such. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Um do you feel as though, cuz I know being that you have your own show and your own platform, do you feel as though it's easier to give somebody a therapy session in person opposed to on the internet, or it doesn't matter to you, or do you like one more than the other? Which do you prefer?
So the whole YouTube platform, I was actually encouraged. Shout out to my big brother, BFTB, who definitely encouraged me with that. it was just driven by wanting to connect, you know, those that look like me and normalizing mental health. Um, but what I will say is that I have done it for individuals, via, Zoom virtual,
Okay.
especially like, I have done that. And, in my profession, my day to day, we're seeing people in person, it's a 24-hour facility. I can't say necessarily I like more than the other. What I will say is whatever the need is. So if the individual is someone that struggles with, social anxiety, then of course virtual is going to work for them, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but I do personally, I'm not going to lie, I do enjoy being in front of the person because then I can see the whole person in their entirety and I can see the behaviors and things like that. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
that's a good question. Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm not. I
You're
look.
doing
Yeah.
amazing at
I'm not good at this interview and stuff, and I don't be wanting to over
doing
interview. I don't be wanting to over
no,
interview people either. At the same
no.
time,
You're actually asking really great questions because it's stuff I really hadn't considered. So, mm-mm.
you always give really good advice. I have to say that. So for all of those that's on my
Hearing
platform right now, um,
it.
the sis give such great advice. You know what I'm saying? We need some young sisters that look and think like her. Where y'all at? Cause I would have been in trouble by now. I'd have been in trouble by
Oh, goodness. You
now.
wouldn't be in trouble at. No. It's
uh,
so kind.
um, do you feel as though every human needs uh therapy in some way? Or do you feel like it's just for others, or sorry, let me rephrase that, or is it just
Okay.
for certain individuals? Do you feel like every person needs it in some way, or is it just for certain individuals?
I would say every person. And, you know, I receive therapy. So,
I was going to
I can
ask you that.
speak.
You actually, sorry to
Yes.
cut you off, I was going to ask you a question like that, but
Hmm.
I would still ask you it, but keep going. I'm sorry. I don't want to break your
No,
wisdom.
no, you're good. You're good. Um, Interesting enough, when we're in graduate school studying, professional counseling and all of those things, they actually say then we want y'all to be in therapy. And so I already had done all of those things prior to even graduating years ago because I can see the need. And I think everyone should have someone that they can speak to and process some of the things. And it's not biased, if you will. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some therapists that may not be the best, right? You're
Umar,
going to find that
Umar.
any,
No, I'm joking. I'm
huh?
joking. I said Umar. I'm clowning. I'm
Well, you
clowning.
too funny for that. Said that it was not on cam, but it's the truth, right? So yes, I would say therapy is for everyone.
Okay. Okay. Um, what is the difference if you could explain to my audience? Because some of them is younger than me. What is the
Okay,
difference? I'm 27. I'm gonna be 28. March 1st.
okay,
Uh, what is the difference between single therapy and a group therapy session, and which do you like better? It's a
okay.
two-part
So
question.
yeah, yeah. So I like both for different reasons
Okay.
because I do both, right?
Okay.
So it's important to really make sure that we're clear in that whole group session group therapy thing because you do have community group supports where we're talking about like AA, NA, things like that. It may be a group support for grief, things of such. But it's important to know that a lot of these community resources are led by peers. And sometimes that can work really well. Um, but it's not like you're going to have someone licensed doing it, and that can cause some things in there. The conversations may not go as well. But where I work at currently, I do facilitate groups, and the biggest thing while we're there is for them to learn coping skills. Realizing that what you were doing before you came in wasn't working. So no matter what you tell me, at the end of the day, you're sitting in this group setting before me. I love the one-on-one because now we're working towards your personalized, person-centered treatment plan. So I get so much out of both, and I see the consumers that I serve get so much out of both. So I like both.
Okay. Um. Sorry. Excuse me. Do you
Yeah.
have an environment that you feel more comfortable in when it comes to that? Or you just like, because I know you kind of did say that, you did kind of answer that, but like when it comes to group therapy, is there like a certain area you thrive in better? You feel like, do you feel like you connect more with the group or more with the single individual person that you just keep focusing on?
Yeah, I would say that it's more connection in that one-on-one session.
Okay.
So
Okay.
where I work at, they stay there for up to 7 days. I mean, of course, we're assessing daily.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes we have to give an extension because they came there
Mm-hmm.
in crisis. So I
Yes.
work a lot with
Yes.
those who are suicidal, all those things, right?
Yes.
So I would say that, yeah, it's that one-on-one where I'm able to better connect. So it's
Okay.
more personal. Yeah.
Yes. Um. Yeah. So that's that question. Uh, is there such thing as, yeah? Well, you kind of answered this also, but is there such thing I said as a therapist needing? I mean, a psychologist needing a psychologist. Is there situations as though like a therapist gets a therapist because they need it, opposed to what you were saying, like it being a criteria?
Definitely. So let's go to ethics. If it be that, say, I have a crisis, okay?
Yes.
Say, something happens and a disturbance, if you will, because I like to keep things a little light and also not utilize too much clinical jargon. But say, for instance, if I have a disturbance in life, something that disrupts my life,
Mm-hmm.
then definitely I need to voice that to my therapist as well as my supervisors because now they have to determine if for this moment or season, if you will, I may be too impaired to give therapy. I hope that makes sense.
No, 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 and that makes complete sense. That's
Yeah.
like you happen to renew your boxing license. You know, I'm a licensed boxer and I'm licensed security. You know, you happen to retake the assessment because you may be mentally stable this year and you may not be the next year.
There-
Let me tell you a story
That
that one of the older ladies told me. You know what I'm saying? And
go
I could
ahead.
tell, you know what I mean? I could tell like she was like when she was younger, you know what I mean? Like she was very feisty, good looking woman. I could tell she was like old enough to be my mom, but she was hilarious. She told me she
Mhm.
had a mentality like me when she first started doing security. She
Mhm.
was pregnant, you know what I
Okay.
mean? I think her child's father, something had happened where I don't know if he got deported or he passed away. I don't remember. She told me one or the other. I just don't remember. But anyway, it was her about to raise her son, and she became an armed security guard. It came to a
Mhm.
situation where she ended up having to take a dude out in GTA at GTA, but you know what I really mean. And it
I
messed
understand.
with her mental. You know what I mean? It's a lady
Mhm.
that's like 5'2". You know what I'm saying? Like, she
Mhm.
wasn't trying to have to do that. So after that, she
Right,
never did armed security again, even though the money was good. She
right.
rather been a regular security guard. So things like that, and she ended up, of course, needing therapy before they cleared her to go back to the agency
Yep,
that we work for.
yeah, yeah,
So,
definitely. That's a traumatic, experience that she had.
you know, and,
Yeah,
and you gotta understand the
um,
emotion. She was also pregnant. It's not like she was in a normal state. She was,
correct,
she was
right.
pregnant. So, and she thought she was going to bring bodily
Mhm.
harm to her and her child. So she did like a mother in any kingdom of the jungles or whatever. Like they're gonna protect you.
Right, exactly.